The other thing people actually don't realize, I don't think, is about how much depression and all that actually and mental health affects your sex drive. That's something that's not talked about.
We can talk about that.
Yeah, and I went 4 years without any of it, so I understand that completely.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
That is something that people don't talk about, though. Like,
yeah,
people don't realize how much that shit actually affects you. So when someone is actually saying to their partner, hey, I don't want to do this because I don't feel like it, maybe it's mentally.
Oh, 100%. Like, for me, and I'm sure it's fairly similar for other guys, it's more so my anxiety than my depression. So talking from an anxiety standpoint, you start getting in your own head. And at that point you can't really keep the little soldier standing, right?
No, I understand that. Even as a woman, I get that.
Yep. So, you kind of have a hard time, and that means some guys don't last as long,
Yeah.
And that's okay. It happens, at that point, it might be easier for you to actually get doing it because you're more motivated. But for me, like, I'm on SSRIs, so like I'm on antidepressants. And for me, sometimes it takes a little bit of more effort, but I also find that when I do have that intimate time, I last longer too, which is kind of funny.
Well, I think that's because the mood stabilizers and stuff like that help with that, right? A little bit.
Well, exactly.
It's just going to make it take a little bit longer because the fact there is also a drug in there trying to fix everything or keep it a little bit more at bay.
Well, 100%. And some people, like, I've done research and reading on this. Like, obviously, when I went on antidepressants, I've been on 2 different antidepressants. I was on a generic of Zoloft, which is a fairly popular antidepressant, which can also be used for anxiety and panic disorders, which I have both. And then I ended up deciding to try and go a more natural route, which didn't really work out for me. It wasn't really helping. It was kind of spiking here and there. And I was like, you know what? I think I need to go back on meds because I need that little extra bit of help.
Yeah.
And I found in turn of going back on meds, I'm on a different med now. I think it's called Cipralex is like the actual brand name.
Okay.
But I'm on a generic of that too because it's cheaper.
Usually.
And the generic's always cheaper. Exact same chemical compound. It's just the fact you're not getting the brand name on the bottle, right? And at that point, like, who cares if it's doing the same job? It doesn't matter.
As long as it's doing what it's supposed to and you're not getting any bad side effects, then 100%.
Well, exactly.
And everything obviously has side effects.
Yeah. I stopped going to therapy, went back to therapy and was like, okay, you know what? I need that little extra bit of help right now so that I can keep going with these, what's it called? Strategies, and kind of get my head right. But yeah, like, in terms of going back on meds, which isn't a bad thing, by the way, but I will say it's not a solution. It's a bridge to help you get there, but it's not the solution.
It's a bridge to help you learn the tools to get there. Unless you're have a mental disorder that you actually need to be on meds regularly. And I'm going to state that because I know there are many out there that you actually have to be on meds regularly.
There are. Yep. So there's 2 different meds for depression or panic disorders. So you can go on SSRIs, which are like your once daily kind of thing, and just kind of levels everything out. Or you can go on your benzodiazepines, which are basically you take them as you need them when you feel a panic attack coming on. But the thing is, those are kind of what's it called? When it drops down and sedative. That's what it is. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm trying to catch you there, but my brain went to downers. You said down, my brain went squirrel. Downers. No, wrong thing. Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Benzos are like a sedative. So basically, the reason why I personally didn't go on those, and this is not saying anything against them. Everyone, I highly recommend you do your research and choose what's best for you. But for me, being in school and working, I can't take the risk of taking a medication and having the rest of my day as a write-off. Like I won't be able to do anything the rest of the day. So that's why I ended up choosing the SSRI route in the daily, because I can still function normally.
Yeah, you can still live a full life and still do stuff and not be feeling like you're stuck to the couch and not being able to fucking move.
Exactly. And
which, mental disorders do that to us anyways, so really.
Well, exactly. So I was like, why am I going to double down on that? Right.
Exactly.
So that's exactly why I went the route I did, and kind of tying back, like, it honestly helped my relationship with my family. Even though I don't always have the best relationship with my family, it's a little bit dicey. I'll go into that a bit later. But it was really affecting my work and personal life and my relationship and my sex life too,
Yeah.
So I wasn't always interested in sex, and sometimes I was a little bit hypersexually active in terms of like I wanted to have sex more often than I was. But this kind of leveled it out, because I'm kind of a little bit in a high-low libido relationship. Yeah. So like I had a higher libido than my girlfriend did. And this honestly kind of helped close the gap. And I'm finding that I don't want it as much, but then when it does happen,
it's a good
nice.
Thing. Yeah.
It's good. And that's another thing is when you go on antidepressants, it's not that you will, but it's highly likely, let's put it this way.
Yes.
It's highly likely that you'll have some performance issues, whether it's keeping everything functioning. We'll put it that way. I'm trying not to get too graphic.
Yeah.
Whether it's just trying to keep everything functioning or that you can't, sometimes you need a little extra help, and say we go to the well-known Viagra. And sometimes you can get that to help.
Or get your hormones checked.
That too. That's another thing.
By the way, is fucking hard to do in Canada.
It really is.
I was just looking into that because I was like, hey, I have sarcoidosis. I have enough health issues that I should probably get my hormones checked.
Yep. I have a friend who was dealing with this. Yep.
And even at that, it's just like...
Yeah. No, I had a friend who was dealing with some stuff and they wanted to get their hormones checked, and it was next to impossible.
Yep.
Like, I don't even remember what they had to go through, but I just remember it took them months to finally get through to it.
So all of you people in the US, I envy you right now because you guys can go find specialists. Yeah. Not a problem.
Oh, no, not a problem at all.
Here, it's hard because it's not a specialized thing in Canada, unfortunately.
Yep.
But, free medical, which actually is not 100% free. It only depends on if you're actually on the free medical.
It also depends on your
that's per province.
Coverage. Per province, it's different, and also it depends on your personal insurance too. Like whether your
I just have
dental, psychotherapy, and all that
provincial
is covered. Gotcha.
So MSP is what I have.
Right. So what we have in Ontario, it's called OHIP.
Yeah.
So the Ontario Health Insurance Plan, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that are covered. I will give them that. There are a lot of things that are covered. I got, I think, antibiotics when I had my wisdom teeth out, and I think those were actually covered, or something along those lines. I'm probably mistaken because it was a couple of years ago now.
Here, majority of antibiotics are covered. You don't usually have to pay for them here. Any psych meds are not.
Yep, psych meds here aren't either. That's why I went with generic instead of the brand name, because it would have, I think, been about twice as much.
Yeah, so like certain meds are covered, like inhalers are not.
I think inhalers can be covered here. It depends on which one, if I'm not mistaken.
If I'm correct, I
haven't checked in a while.
I think the blue one I had to pay about $20 to $30. So I think it's partially covered here. But I love it. People are like, "Oh, you guys have free healthcare." I'm like, "No, we get free hospital visits. We get free ambulance rides," and I know I'm going to fucking butcher that word because I always fucking do.
Ambulance rides.
I always had an extra like letter in there somewhere. Yeah, that's kind of how I say it. I know. But we get those for free. We can have babies that don't cost us fucking thousands of fucking dollars.
That's another thing. I saw a TikTok on that shit not too long ago, and it was like 35 grand or something absurd. I was like, excuse me?
I think that was just the initial birth, and then she added on extra because it ended up being like $43,000 to have a fucking child.
Yeah, because it was the child itself renting the room, getting the practitioners in there, getting the epidural and all this other stuff. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, if that's how much it's going to cost to have a kid here in Canada, I was like, I don't know.
Nobody would be having fuck babies in Canada.
Oh God, no. Are you kidding me? Our population would be declining by the minute.
We'd be like scooting people in because we'd be like, hey, we need more people.
Literally.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, my kids cost me nothing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Thank God for that. Because I saw that and went, ooh.
Oh my God. I saw that and I almost texted my girlfriend and was like, yeah, honey, we're going to have to hold off on having kids for 20 years.
The thing is, though, that was in the US. So that's
Thank
insane.
God.
Because
it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me.
So I don't know
get it.
How are hospital visits are like.
Business as well, but
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Do you guys have to pay for hospital visits on your end of Canada or no?
No, are you kidding me? I had some shit going on a little while back that I had to deal with, and I had 2, maybe 3 hospitals visits within the span of 2 weeks. Didn't pay for a single thing.
Okay, well, because it varies per province, and I want people to understand that. Like, it does, and we do have insurance in Canada as well to get full coverage, because it's not full coverage; it's partial coverage.
Yeah,
I think you can have 10 physio visits a year.
Something like that,
yeah, and dental is not covered, by the way. People think that's included.
Not. It is not, and it pisses me off because that shit is expensive.
Dude, $115, and that was like 5 years ago or 6 years ago to get a tooth pulled. So just imagine what it is now. I'm good.
Ridiculous.
I'll keep my teeth in my mouth.
I know someone that got a dental implant because they knocked out their tooth when they were little. So they had a temporary denture or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they finally got a permanent implant. They got the screw in. They're just waiting to get the crown done. All in, I think it's roughly like $6 grand, something like that, for one tooth.
Jesus.
One.
That's insane.
That's including the local anesthetic. They weren't put out for it. The general anesthetic, where they put you under, is an extra $1,000.
Yep.
Which is ridiculous. I don't even remember how much it was to get my wisdom teeth out.
Yeah.
It was expensive.
Now that scares you, right? Like, yeah.
Well, it does, right? And that's the thing, like, with the way things are now with inflation, with whether it's the housing market or groceries, freaking gas. Holy shit.
Oh my God.
I literally went to buy gas last night. I went to buy gas last night because I have my parents' car for a couple weeks because they are out of town. So I have their car to go to work, do whatever I need to do. And it was like 168.9 or something at like 10 o'clock at night.
By the way, people, that's liters.
Yes, that's right. 168 per liter. I don't know what the conversion is off the top of my head. I don't know what the
conversion is to gallons either. Yeah.
It was almost $2 a liter.
That's insane.
And like I saw the gas today, it was like 180 per liter.
It's been like that for a while too.
I remember when gas was freaking 80, 90 cents.
Right?
Right?
Oh my God. Like, I miss those days kind of, and I don't even drive.
Yeah, I remember I was really young when that happened, but the rate of inflation.
Yeah, I was like a teenager, so it wasn't that much.
Exactly, right? But
so just so everyone does know, I am older than him. So
Yes. I am 22, by the way, so we can clear that up.
Yeah, and I'm 35, so you know.
Well, yeah, but yeah, no, and that's the thing though with the rate of inflation at this point. I looked a couple months ago now. I was looking at the minimum wage versus livable minimum wage. Minimum wage right now in Ontario is $15.50. In October, I think they said it's going up to $16.50. $1.
Yep.
Take a wild guess what the livable minimum wage is.
I think it's like $22 it should be an hour or something like that.
23.
See, I'm not far off. I saw that one. Can you tell?
23 in some of your more like smaller neighborhoods and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's the smaller neighborhoods. That's not including the big cities. Like Vancouver,
that's
you need a minimum wage of like Toronto and Vancouver. You need like
Toronto is about $24, $25 an hour.
Yeah. I think Vancouver's like almost damn near 30 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And it's $15 here too, by the way.
Well, exactly. The livable minimum wage right now is almost double. Like, think about that.
Can't believe
Put that into perspective. Most people work one job, maybe two jobs.
I know.
You're working full time out of those two jobs. You're not even working two double shifts. You're barely making enough to live. Right?
Let alone someone say that's a single parent trying to work one job in a one income household with like more than one kid. And
that's what I was just about to say.
Rent a place that has enough bedrooms for all your children so you don't have the ministry called on you because
$15.50 an hour, forget it.
No.
And that's an entry level job.
Yeah.
Right? We're not even talking like if you have a university degree or whatever. I'm in university.
Even that means nothing these days unless it's like teacher or like what you're going for. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going for a teacher, so I have to have a bachelor's degree and then my teaching certificate, you know? But like for an entry level position, just like a regular part-time job or full-time, like permanent full-time job, you're working, say, retail or whatever, you're working minimum wage. You know, for me, I'm permanent part-time right now at a thrift store.
Yeah.
And I'm making, I think, like 60 cents over.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm making 60 cents over minimum wage. Right. And at that point, you're anxious about it because you're like, how am I gonna freaking pay for this shit? Right?
Oh, exactly.
Like me personally, I took a loan off a family member and I bought myself an apartment. Because my grandmother had money sitting in a bank gaining less than 1%. And I was like, why the fuck am I gonna stress myself, go into a bank and get a loan or a mortgage?
That's gonna cost you way more.
Well, it would cost me over 3%.
Yeah.
And my grandmother was making less than 1%. So we said, okay, like let's find the medium, blah, blah, blah. And we worked out a lower interest rate. I'm sitting just under like 1.5%. So she's making a little extra money that's just sitting there, really not doing anything.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting absolutely analed by the banks.
Well, exactly.
Because I think they said the interest rate recently in Bank Canada just went up to freaking 5%.
Yep. Most things I think are 5.5 actually, if I'm correct, when I just looked.
Yep. No, you're right. You're right. Because I heard this was a couple months ago when I heard the 5%. But yeah. And at that point, people are stressing out. They're anxious. They're depressed. Some people are even suicidal because they're like, how am I going to pay rent? How am I going to pay utilities? How am I going to pay for food? That's another thing. The inflation of food.
Your rent is anywhere between $1,500 to $2,000. Some of those are one bedrooms.
Think about it this way. I'm making just over minimum wage. I'm making about $1,600 a month.
Yeah.
Give or take. I'm ballparking here because my last couple of paychecks were around a little over $800. We'll round down and just say 800, right? Because I'm getting paid a little bit over minimum wage and I'm working 30 hours a week.
Yeah.
I'm not even working like full time at 40 hours. I'm working 10 hours under that. Most people won't even be getting that many hours. So working that much, I'm making $1,600. Your rent's at $1,500. Cool. You have $100 in groceries for the entire month.
And nothing for bills.
That's not even including hydro. That's not including Wi-Fi. That's not even including health or medical. That's not including any other pleasure spending, going out, seeing a movie or anything. You have $100 left over. What are you going to do with that? Oh, wait, you have to pay taxes at the end of the year.
Yep.
And this is where a lot of people start having that anxious, breakdown of, how the fuck am I going to pay for stuff? How am I going to live? How am I going to feed my family or feed myself? And it's hard because some people are like, well, I can't go to school to get this degree requirement for this one job that say I'll make 5 figures, right?
Yeah.
Some people are making like $15,000 a year.
Like
$1,000 a
honestly,
month.
single parents are lucky because they have that extra child tax. Because
Exactly.
in Canada, you get money monthly for having your children.
Yep.
Thank God for that, because I wouldn't be able to survive if I was renting somewhere else.
Oh no. And that's why I brought up the fact that I have my own apartment. Mind you, I'm not at my apartment, which for those of you who know me and watch my stream, you'll know I'm in a different location.
Very much so.
I'm in my hometown right now, but my own apartment, I bought it. I'm renting out 2 of my 3 rooms. It's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. I'm renting out 2 of my rooms. And I'm even renting under market value.
Well, exactly.
Just so I can make sure that I get tenants and I can still cover my bills so that I don't have to really pay anything out of pocket. I'm not even getting anything personally.
Yeah, no.
Like, I'm not even paying myself, right? Anything that I get is going towards condo fees, going towards hydro, going towards Wi-Fi, going towards taxes, property taxes as well.
Yes.
And then on top of that, I have to pay off my loan, which I treat it like a mortgage.
Yeah.
So I have to pay that off too. After that, I maybe have a couple $100 left over. And that's just my little emergency fund in case something happens. Say there's something that goes on and I need to replace something or fix whatever.
Especially when you have tenants in there, right? So you kind of have to have that.
Right?
It's just me and the children.
So, yeah. So
they can complain. It's like, okay.
Oh yeah. No, thank God I have good tenants.
All right. We're going to talk to you guys next time on the next podcast. Keep your eyes open on YouTube, TikTok, Spotify. Don't forget, we have Spotify now too. So all this loveliness will be on there. Bye for now.